and welcome back to the United Stand Therapy Forum. Did we expect anything else? Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. Could have been a lot worse, but all in all, a very, very, very dismal day at Old Trafford. Again, ending 2024 with a loss, which kind of sums up this season so far for Manchester United, and it feels like it just keeps getting worse. We've got a lot to talk about. Where do we go from here? How do we move on from this? What do Manchester United need to do? We are going to be talking with Mods, Usman and Ricky, and you guys as well. Please get your comments in, get interactive, get your super chats in, because I think we all just need to vent a little bit, get things off our chests, and it should be a safe space for anyone to just say what they want to say. And if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. And you can agree, you can disagree, really, but it's time to stop sugarcoating it and just be honest about what we think. And yeah, it might be a little bit emotional at times, but we're Manchester United fans at the end of the day, and that's what it is. But let's start off. Usman, welcome back. We had to drag Usman here.
Yeah, literally.
Drag him on camera with a gun like this.
Yeah, I have no idea what the conversation was. After we lost, was it Wolves that we lost the last?
Yeah.
Literally, I text Greg saying, I'm not coming on Monday.
Tired of this.
Oh, I knew we were losing today, but I'm positive because we only lost by 2 and not 4. So half my prediction. So yeah, I'll take it. Positive.
Do you know what as well? We had a little fans forum before we even went live. I wish there was cameras in this place.
I was cooking, Beth. Beth's gonna get it on the show.
I was getting cooked. Ricky's was like this everywhere, going absolutely mad. We want to see the same energy. It was giving. He never got a chance on Anthony Elanga. But if you don't laugh, you'll cry. One thing I will start off with is Ruben Amorim. 36% win rate so far as Manchester United manager. Had a lot of backing from the fans within Old Trafford today. I mean, Maud, let's start with you. Ruben Amorim, is he got to be backed? I mean, where are you at with him? It's mad to think you're even having this conversation this soon into his tenure. But questions will be asked, whether rightly or wrongly, because we keep losing games.
He has to be backed. Let's be real. Don't get it twisted. We're all very emotional about United, and we've been emotional about United for the past year and a half. But I'm not that much of a fan. I'm going to be like, oh, get Ruben out. We need Zidane. We need this person. No, let's be honest. He hasn't even had nearly half the amount of time that he's needed to change this group of players. And we're going to talk about all the players today. And the fact that we're probably going to mention probably 1 or 2 players that have played well kind of shows you the difficulty in the job that he has. My
list for players that I want to keep keeps getting smaller.
It's like one hand now. It's like before I could probably name 5 or 6. Now I'm struggling to name a good 3 or 4 players that's actually going to be there when we, or if we eventually go on to win a title or win a big trophy. The number is getting smaller and smaller, and because of that, I think it'd be seriously unfair to look at Ruben and say, oh, why are you not doing better? Why are you not doing this? He knows himself how big of a challenge this is, and it's almost an impossible job to be the United manager anyway. But with this team, it's like suicide almost. What do you want him to do? What more could he really have done? I get it, in-game management, certain players starting, certain players coming off. But it's like, what improvements could you really make?
For me personally, I would rather see every single one of them players leave that club before I see Amorim go. Just not that we even should be thinking like that, but people will start asking questions and pressure will start to build because we're not winning games. We're in relegation form.
We're not going to win our next 2, so
yeah. I mean,
we've got that to list. So was that 6 in a row?
Genuinely, and okay, yeah, it got better when we made that substitute, and we'll talk about the whole Xerxes situation in a bit. But there was times in that game for long periods where I was sat here saying you could bring up most teams from the Championship, get them to play on Old Trafford against Newcastle, and they'd give it more of a go at certain points. That's what it was giving. And there's multiple reasons for that, but for me, looking at it from the outside in, if you're going to go and get Ruben Amorim midway through a season in EOS, which is what you've decided to do, we don't have the players that can play his system, we don't. But the last thing I want is for him to put that aside and go to a 4-3-3. I don't want to see that. I want him to stick to his principles. I want him to stick to his system. But I'm not ready to hear in January, oh, we've got no money. Oh, we can't get anyone in. If you're prepared to go and get Ruben Amorim out of Sporting Lisbon midway through a season, when he said, can I have it at the end of the season? You said, no, you're coming now. and throw him into that mess, you better be prepared to back him with players that are going to fit his system. That's all I will say, because I do believe in him, but we don't have players that suit his system, and we need to get them in quickly.
And it's terrible organisation, terrible planning for them to go and spend how much money in the summer on a bunch of players for Ten Hag, just for them to go and sack him 7 games later and then to complain with the next manager and say we haven't got any money. Well, you just spent half of the money I would have spent on a bunch of players for the previous manager. If you knew this manager was on the line that much, that he really wasn't going to keep his job, why would you spend so much money on players for him when you know that you're going to come and bring me in? They interviewed Amorim way before Ten Hag got sacked. It's not like Amorim just came out of nowhere. I know it felt like to us he came out of nowhere, but to them, they would have known that they were speaking to him and preparing for a new manager to come in a long time ago. So if you really wanted to back a new manager, don't go and spend however much money on a bunch of players who, let's be honest, half of them are really not good enough. We've seen, I mean, we're going to talk about players in a sec, but a bunch of them have terrible performances. But now in January, now in the summer, it's like, oh, we don't have enough money for you. Why don't we have enough money? Because you spent a whole load of money in the summer on a bunch of pointless players.
Yeah, the no money thing will not wash with me. You made that decision. You've got to be prepared to back it. I mean, Usman, as well, another point that I bring up is I think that a lot of the players that we have don't look up for it. They look beaten from the first kick of the game. And a lot of them probably aren't up for the task of adapting to a new system, putting in the graft. Ruben Amorim clearly demands a lot from his players. I mean, where are you at with this squad in Manchester United right now?
I mean, I don't think they're not up for it. They're just not good enough. I mean, I've said countless times before, the shirt is very heavy. We've seen since Sir Alex Ferguson, a lot of top quality players have come to the club and it's just not happened for them for whatever reason. I just think a lot of people can't deal with the pressure at Manchester United Football Club. It's not very easy. I think the board are the main culprits for the mess that we're in. They went for this new, we're going to go for young players and we're going to revolutionise the way Manchester United. When you put a group of young players, or you're actively going by a group of young players, you need to have older heads that actually can lead the way. I mean, if you look at older heads, we've got Casemiro, we've got Bruno Fernandes who gets sent off more times than he's scoring goals. We've got Maguire there, we've got Rashford, all the older senior players in this team. You can't really put your hat on any of them. I mean, none of them are leaders, none of them are going to stand up, when they're going against tough. Bruno's flailing his arms. Maguire's, a shadow of his former self. Rashford, missing training. I mean, so forth. I mean, the list is endless. The point is, the recruitment absolutely killed us. Now we've got a group of young players, Xerxes, Ahmad, Garnacho, Højlund. I mean, I'm not saying any of them are any good, but the truth of the matter is they're 22 and under. They're all trying to learn the trade, and unfortunately, they do not have the luxury of making mistakes because they're the biggest club in the world when the pressure is on them every single touch they make. So that's where we've gone wrong. We can't rectify that now because the half those players potentially aren't even good enough to be at United. But for me, if we are going to buy players like you've both mentioned, they have to be players with at least a bit of experience, international pedigree as well, and a bit of quality about them as well. Because for me, we can't continue going down this route because it's going to just kill us.
I mean, we could bring up loads of examples. We were talking about a few off air. We might get into it previously about bad transfer decisions we've made, and a lot of people will blame Erik ten Hag for certain transfers, and there is blame to be held on a lot of players that he brought in. Of course there is, but there's also multiple other decisions that got made that were other people involved that has turned this club into a big mess. I mean, there's comments coming in, Ricky, and there's people saying a lot of fans complained when Erik ten Hag basically ditched his philosophy and tried to get points, and it was always chopping and changing, and people were asking to see an identity. Now a manager's trying to instill an identity in a system, and we are having to suffer. People are complaining. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Ruben Amorim should stick to this and keep going with it?
He should, but he's got to realise which players suit which positions better. There's been a really basic error made tonight. Surely you can't have underestimated Newcastle. Newcastle are absolutely on fire at the moment. And I said before the game that whichever formation he uses them in, I said the 4 middlemen, the 2 6s and the 2 10s, I said they've got to be Casemiro, it's got to be Eriksen, it's got to be Mainu, and it's got to be Ahmad. And one of them was Xerxes. Now, when Xerxes is playing, he's a striker. He's naturally a striker. there's not enough people behind the ball. And I've sat here for years and years and talked about that. And not only that, and no matter what you think about how it went before and after half an hour into the game, he takes Xerxes off and goes with the 4 that I said in the first place should be playing. He does though, don't he?
Yeah.
And it improved.
And it improved.
I mean, on Joshua Xerxes quickly.
And that's not, I'm having a go at Xerxes,
Yeah.
by the way. He's a striker. For God's sake, we can't go into that game with 2 strikers and it's just 2 in midfield, really.
Experimenting a game like this makes no sense.
I mean, I mean, he's been a champions. He's just trying something new. But I just think for me, I would actually put him in strike, and I would have preferred Hoyland on the left if he's going to play him together. But yeah, obviously, Beth, you're going to mention Xerxes. Obviously, he was horrific, but I know we all agree because we spoke about it off air. But the way our fans G'd him off the pitch was absolutely pathetic and embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
I know a lot of people will say, well, you've said he did have a good game. Yeah, I was in the stadium. I definitely didn't jeer him off the pitch. I mean, he's a young lad. Yeah, he wasn't nowhere near good enough, but literally nobody was above a 1 out of 10 prior to him getting subbed out. We were absolutely horrific, and he doesn't deserve that, man. Nobody deserves that, especially at that age, man. That's going to kill his confidence even more. I mean, he's probably going to end up in Italy in January now anyways, but you can't be doing that. That's so classless from our club. Honestly, it's actually pathetic.
I turned round to who sits behind me and I said, I feel really sorry for the guy. And there was people being like, oh, you know, it's football and all this. And it's like, it was sad to see.
It's on the manager.
It was sad to see.
It's on the manager. He shouldn't have started him in the first place. And I'm not having a go. I'll repeat, I'm not having a go at him as a player. We didn't need 2 centre forwards on a pitch in a game like that.
Well, Ruben Amorim got asked if he will change his approach. He said maybe, or you continue with your idea and then they have to change the coach. It's a choice that everyone has to make in football. I think this is the best thing for the team and I will continue to pass my message. So he basically there is saying, I'm sticking with it. If you don't like it, change the coach. And I think he's not even had a single transfer window. And I think Ineos really need to show the fans that they are willing to back this manager. News might come out about financial fair play. News might come out about funds being low. I mean, we know that we are suffering the amount of cuts that we've had behind the scenes, and some that I think are massively distasteful, by the way, that I won't get into now. I look at what I'm watching today. I'm seeing players on 300 grand a week, 350 grand a week, hundreds of £1,000s a week, putting in these like horrible performances. We're cutting money from charities, we're cutting money from working class people that work a lot of hours and work hard for this club, and that's the performances I'm seeing of players on the pitch. Okay, yeah, I get contracts are contracts. You can't just walk in and say, I'm not paying you this week. I get that. And it's years of bad decisions by people that have probably come into the club and left the club by now. But if you're going to get Ruben Amorim midway through a season, you've got to be prepared to back him. It has to be done. There is no excuses for that. And the fact of the matter is, whoever's fault it is or not, obviously we were already poor, but since Ineos have been at this football club, which is about a year now, we have only got worse and worse and worse. We are in the worst position that we have ever been in for a long time. A long time. Yeah. We have got worse and worse and worse. And people can say it's been building up. People say it's the wrong timing. They've got to own that. You know, if you're coming into a football club to take hold of the footballing side of things, you have got to own that and make it right. I get Rome wasn't built in the day. I get that we've got to have patience, but a lot more needs to be done, especially when we know what could have happened if there was that full takeover. I ended up going on a spiral there, but it's just so frustrating because it feels like we're moving at a snail's pace, and it feels like that snail is actually going backwards when we know, okay, it wouldn't be fixed overnight, but if we would have had a full takeover with massive investment, we would have been moving at a lot quicker of a pace. It's just frustrating, but it is work. If you're not going to do that, at least do everything you can to get it right.
I think you're 100% right. And I think with Ineos, because, I mean, let's be honest, they didn't have a crazy amount of experience managing a club like United. I mean, I don't think it's even possible to have that kind of experience unless you're managing like Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, a club of that size. So they're kind of figuring it out the same way how the manager's probably trying to figure it out, the same way the players are trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out the exact same pace that we are. That's why they're making, in my opinion, they made a lot of bad decisions. I think the fact that they kept Ten Hag for so long was a bad decision. A lot of the signings that they made were bad decisions. A lot of the costs that they've cut. I said it before the show, I don't understand how a billionaire, maybe this is controversial, but I don't understand how a billionaire can think about, I need to cut costs, I'm going to look at the people who are earning the least amount of money to cut their costs. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. One day for one of those billionaires could probably pay off all the cuts that they probably made at United. That to me is horrible. I don't care.
It's true.
Especially at Christmas as well.
At Christmas time, you're cutting off rewards for staff members. I think 250 people have lost their jobs. They fired Fergie. Like, they've done so many. I mean, there's a whole other list of things that you probably find online. But for them to think we need to cut costs, we're going to look at the people who earn the least to take the money from there, makes absolutely no sense to me. And they haven't done enough. Like the quality on the pitch hasn't been any standard that I can say, you know what, I have faith in them right now. I can see that it's working. I can see that what they're doing on the pitch, the quality is improving, the players are improving. It's not. So what is the big difference right now? What are we looking at Ineos for to give us any little bit of confidence? I don't see anything right now. I'm not to say Ineos out or anything. I don't think it's even possible. But I just don't really have that much faith in what they're doing right now, I'll be honest.
Also, don't talk to me about financial fair play, because look at Chelsea. They've managed it. They've sold. They've done things like, you know, it's if you can't come into a football club and then be like, oh, but we have no money, you sort that out. You have taken on this challenge, and we're in a bad place, and it's a huge challenge. But let's get back onto Joshua Zirkzee right now, because Ruben Amorim has spoken about him. He said, you have to think about the team, but also about the player. That the player is suffering. I thought the team was suffering, and we needed another midfielder to have more of the ball.
Bingo.
It was really tough.
Bingo!
You knew it beforehand, didn't you,
I told you before the game!
It was really tough for me to do that, but I've spoken to Josh, as it was important to express the message. For the team, it was important for Josh to go out. I know that Josh is a really good guy. When he went to the tunnel, I can understand that some guys can be in a bad way, but he's a really good lad. It is life, and we will continue to support Josh. Newcastle was better than Manchester United, but they weren't better than just Josh. So backing his player there, and yeah, you know, the people that were trying to scapegoat Zirkzee makes me laugh, because it's like, obviously we know he was poor, and I was saying in the crowd, Jesus, he's really poor today, like it's like playing with 10 men. But everyone was poor, and sorry, were Manchester United good before we signed Zirkzee? Were we good last year when he weren't playing?
But
no.
Didn't you say Bruno was missing today?
Oh, we'll get on to that.
Oh no, we'll get on to it now.
We'll get on to that.
Let's get on to it now.
We can get on to that. But you know what? You take the floor. Take the floor.
Oh, mate, honest to God, I'm just going to say it right now, right? To all the people that are doing Play FC, I beg you stop. I don't care if it's Bruno, I don't care if it's Rashford, Ahmad, Garnacho. None of them are doing anything. Oh, actually, Ahmad, let me excuse him because he is actually doing something. But all your Players FCs, including Beth, with this Bruno prop on Twitter, needs to flipping stop. Not one of them players has done anything in 18 months to warrant any praise. None of them. None, I don't care who you mention, not one player. Like I said, Ahmad's the only one really that's done anything. He's only just got here. So the rest of the players, I don't care if Bruno's on the page, I don't care if Rashford's on the page, I don't care if flipping Garnacho's on the page. They've all been shit. It's as simple as that. Every single one of them, they were here last season playing week in, week out. We finished whatever position it was. It was our worst season ever in Premier League history. They've all been playing this season. It's our worst start in Premier League history. It makes no difference who's on the page. They're all not good enough. It's as simple as that. You can make your cases for who you want. That's like me turning around and saying, oh, you know, they said Pogba was a problem, Martial was a problem. They're flipping gone now. It is what it is. Obviously, Ricky will agree with me that Martial's 10 times better than all of these attackers put together.
I'd agree with you with that.
I mean, the people ran Martial out of town saying he's lazy, he's this, he's that.
I never did.
I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying the point I'm making is our fans wanted the Brunos, the Rashfords, the Garnachos to stay, and this is a mess we're in because the issue
even,
is,
excuse me, husband, even Lukaku before that.
Bro,
even
Lukaku's
right
better
now
than
at 30 or whatever, he's better than Ireland or 30 now.
He's levels above them. The point I'm making is,
we keep going backwards.
honest to God, the team's an absolute shit show. Like, honestly, from top to bottom, that includes Bruno, that includes Rashford, that includes them all. I'm not hearing anyone making any excuses for their favourites. If I start making excuses on Twitter, by all means, strike me down. Honest to God, no player deserves any excuses.
Oh, so go on.
Just seen a quote from
Ruben, go on.
I've just seen a quote from Ruben Amorim. He got asked about strengthening in January, the squad. And he said, we don't have that possibility in January. You know what the situation is.
Oh, we're finished.
And can I just say on that,
Get 40 points.
why on earth did Ineos decide, right, decide to get a manager, and don't take this in the wrong way, but why did they decide to get a manager that doesn't have the players to suit his system that he's known for, and then say, actually, we can't afford to get you them players in? It makes no sense. Get a manager then that has a system that suits this type of players. But if that's all you can work with, I don't think we should do that, by the way. I think most of these players should be gone, and we should be getting new players in to suit the system that Amorim's got. I back Amorim 100 million % I back Amorim. The last thing I ever want to do is sack another manager. But the fact of the matter is, why go and pay Ruben Amorim out midway through a season and give him a set of players that do not suit his system in any sort of way? What did you think was going to happen? Yep. What did you think was going to happen?
They've set him up to fail, basically.
Can I bring one more thing in?
Yeah, go on.
One more, which I think is an error. And it's certainly, I'm not having it any other way. It's definitely an error not to at least try it. And I was having a discussion with my mate Pete, who's probably watching. He's a massive critic of Anthony, as a lot of fans are. And I was saying to him, but we keep bringing him on the right. And I know he likes to play on the right, but I think it's even more important to have a left footer on the left if you're playing as a wing back. Yeah. You know, you defend better with your left foot when you're playing. That's why most left backs are left-footed and why most right backs are right-footed. You defend better, and as a wing back, you're going to have defending to do. And so even though I would say, as I tried to point out to Pete the other day on the phone, even though I wouldn't play Anthony myself, and lots of people won't play Anthony, they do play him and they do bring him on. If I had the opportunity, I would go down on bended knee to Ruben and say, next time you bring Anthony on as a wing-back, please put him on the left and put Dalot on the right. What harm can it do for how we're playing? If you try it for half a game or half an hour, I'm not saying that I would bring Anthony on even. All I'm saying is, if you're going to bring him on and you're going to play him as a wing-back, put him on the left and put Dalot on the right, for God's sake. And if it isn't any better, fine. But at least try it. At least try it.
It can't be worse.
It can't be worse than Dalot on the left. There's no way. Honestly, I agree. I agree with Ricky. We were saying like the entire backline needs to shift. I mean, we just need balance. Like as you said, put the left side foot players on the left. I mean, the entire left side is horrific. It's actually quite ironic because when Martial and Shaw were basically fit, our left side was always our best side. We never had a good right side. Yeah. And we for such a long period of time, our right side was horrific, and Shaw and Martial or Shaw and Rashford would carry us. And now it's like our left side is so bad. Like honestly, and the right side is actually decent. But for me, I wouldn't even play Mazraoui right wing back. I'd put, as we said, Mazraoui has to be right centre back. I just think Dalot's been awful this season, but I'd play him right wing back, Mazraoui right centre back, obviously the holding centre back, and then Euro, and then I'd actually start Anthony. I know that you just said you don't mind it for 30 minutes, but he's left-footed. I mean, we haven't got Shaw, we haven't got
Anthony. We're in the mud.
But this is how we know we're in a bad place, because I agree with Usman. I said it in the week. I said, this is how you know like where we're at.
We're relegation team.
If you're actually looking in Ruben Amorim's system, which is what he's playing, you need wing backs that have some attacking prowess in them. Mazraoui and Dalot, they are not working there. They are not working there.
They don't get forward.
I seen a stat that in the Premier League, Mazraoui and Dalot have had 276 minutes, and Ahmad and Anthony together at wing back have had like 300 and odd minutes. 9 goals when Ahmad and Anthony are at wing back, 0 with Mazraoui and Dalot there. I mean, doesn't that show? It's got to be some. People say it's coincidence. It can't be coincidence. 9 goals.
It's not. It's not.
It's something has got to change with that, in my opinion. Like, as much as we back Amorim, we're allowed to criticise him. For the time being, I think we have to go in, obviously invest in that area in the transfer window, the wing-back area. We are on our knees in terms of wing-backs. But I think you have to put Anthony in, I do. I genuinely do.
We've got Salah and whoever's playing on the right instead of Saka for Arsenal. I mean, Salah's not the one to
I actually thought that Ahmad and Anthony for the short periods they were on the pitch together, worked quite well together on that right-hand side.
But that's because of the overloads that they create, because Anthony likes to get forward. Obviously, Mazraoui has no interest in getting up the pitch, doesn't overlap, sometimes underlaps, but that's not really going to help Ahmad. So, like, football's all about overlaps. I mean, it's no coincidence that Rashford and Martial played a lot better when Luke Shaw was fit, because Luke Shaw either does the overlap and takes a player away from him, leaves him in a 1v1, or he'll just give them an opportunity to just lay the ball to him, and he has a bit of quality. So, for me, it's just that's what we're missing, honestly. God, Dalot only went forward twice. Maguire hit the ball.
I saw Dalot go past the fullback without the ball at his feet, just in the second half, and Casemiro had the ball on the corner of the box. And just as Dalot ran past him, he tried a curling cross with the outside of his right foot.
Straight to the keeper.
Yeah,
Straight to the keeper.
oh my
just pass
God,
it
just
to
pass
Dalot.
it, yeah.
And look, I
was itchy.
know if my auntie had thingies, she'd be my uncle and all that. I get all that. But you never know if that would have been a goal, if you'd have just put Dalot in, because Dalot is then in behind, and you're in a really dangerous position. And I've said time and time again, it's how City play, it's how Liverpool play. You've got to do that time and time and time again. And eventually, it will lead to a goal. And who's to say that might not have been the moment, and you're back in the game?
I don't know why Casemiro's trying that. He must have been watching Modric or something again. I don't know why. Jesus Christ. Since when has he hit a Trivela cross in his life? Like, honestly.
And the thing is as well, in terms of like offensively, like scoring goals, we did actually have a couple chances. And then the Maguire when
We
he
had
hit
the better
post.
chances in the
We
game.
had two one-on-ones
We had
with the keeper,
Casemiro
didn't
and
we?
Yoru,
Casemiro.
Maguire, Højlund had a one-on-one.
And the Højlund one where he could have
We
put it
actually had the
in.
better chances in the game.
I want to say overall.
Oh, maybe not overall.
Not overall, but we had our fair share of chances that we should have put away. And
They did batter us first.
I feel like it's Ruben saying some more stuff.
No, we did. I'm listening to you. We did have chances, don't get me wrong, we did. But do you know when you just have a feeling?
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
That's what you said to me on the way up here.
I had a feeling that I could have sat there for 3 more hours and we wouldn't have scored
no,
a
we
goal.
don't have quality.
It went.
Do you know what I mean?
It did go worse. It went a bit worse again. Believe it or believe it not, no matter how you think he was playing, it went a little bit worse again when he took Casemiro off and brought Eriksen on. Sorry, not Eriksen, Garnacho.
I completely agree. That's exactly what I was
it
thinking.
went a little bit worse again. So he made one change, it made it a hell of a lot better. Then he made another change, but it made it go backwards a little bit. In fact, when he made that change, there must have been, I mean, I can't wait to watch it back, but it seemed like a 5-minute spell to me where we didn't get a kick of the ball, whereas for 20 minutes before that, we were dominating possession and keeping them pinned back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he made that sub, and no matter how he was playing, it's another body behind the ball, and you need players behind the ball, not just to win the ball, but to make it difficult for them to get through you. But then you can force them back, and if you've got 2 or 3 men ahead of the ball, it's you haven't got enough men to force them back. It's difficult. It made it more difficult. When he took him off.
I was about to say we massively missed Ugarte today.
Massively missed Ugarte, I agree.
Yeah, honest to God, his legs, his tenacity, his
Said it
ability to
before,
put the ball back. It was so apparent it wasn't on the pitch. I mean, with all due respect to Eriksen, he's actually had a good season, but he's just not that guy, is he?
You can't. So.
No, go on.
I was gonna say you can't. Like before the show, even when I thought it was Mainu and Casemiro, not Mainu and Eriksen. Even then, I thought we're still gonna get run through in that midfield. Not because I don't think Mainu's a good player, but out of possession, those two do not complement each other at all, in my opinion. Him and Casemiro.
Can I just say, Mords? Can I just say, again, no matter which 2 it was, there was only 2. And think about it, when he brought Mainu on, it became 3 because Eriksen gets back better than Xerxes.
But it's 'cause we had Xerxes in the 10.
So for longer periods, we've got Mainu, before Casemiro went off, and we did dominate the play during this period. We had during the period where we had Mainu, Casemiro and Eriksen all on the pitch, we dominated the play. It was a good spell for us, and we were unlucky not to get a goal during that period. Like you just said, we had 3 really good chances. I'm counting Maguire's header there, but I'd like to see it on the box. But it looked like a really good chance.
Did I hit the post?
hit the
Post. So we had 3 really good chances, and we were playing really well. We were the better team for me while we had those 3 on the park. But then it changed when Casemiro went off. I forgot what I was leading to there, but in a nutshell, you're better off with more players behind the ball.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got some super chats in, I'll get through them, and then I kind of just want to go back to front because I think we have some differing opinions on a few things, especially in terms of the midfield. I do agree with you, Ricky, that we got worse when Casemiro came off and Garnacho came on, but that just shows how poor we are. Genuinely, that's the case. But here's an interesting stat for you. Get ready to
here we
fish.
go, I know what this is.
Man United have failed to score a single goal in any of the last 4 Premier League matches that haven't featured Bruno Fernandes.
Because I aimed at Ricky, wasn't it?
It's just a stat. It's just a stat I thought I'd bring up.
What the opponents, you know?
And I actually don't know. I'd have to go back, but I do want to say.
How
That
many
must go
games-
back so long, though. That must go back
just a
long.
rebuttal
Yeah,
for that.
David misses a game, doesn't
I
he?
mean, look, obviously stats don't lie, but Man United have also not won a game since Rashford's not been on the pitch.
No,
what
that's
I'm
true.
doing,
That's
yeah.
true.
So then it's,
That's
the, same,
true.
it's the same agenda.
That's
isn't
true,
It? I
but-
think the point
Bruno
is-
missed Villa away suspended, didn't he?
Yeah, it's just.
And we
it's
got a
just-
0-0 draw.
It's just agendas.
We're
it
just
doesn't mean
bad.
anything.
But
That's just what
I
it
did
is.
want to come back. It's not an agenda. It's not an
I'm not
agenda.
saying
It's
you're.
a
I'm not.
stat.
I'm not saying you're pushing agenda, but what I'm saying is, anyone can manipulate stats. I can say I don't even like Rashford. I can do the same for Rashford.
What I
don't
was
want him,
going to go back to and say, just on the Bruno thing before, as you were saying, what my tweet was, which you said a while ago,
Yeah.
it's not that, I don't think if Bruno played today we would have won. I don't think that. I think he's been poor for quite a while. And I thought his performance at Wolves was inexcusable. But, like I said before the game, and I will stick to this now, I think, are better off with him in this moment in time. In this moment in time. I said, doesn't mean he's not an issue or, he's not, I don't think he's the perfect player or anything like that. But if you look at all of the issues Manchester United have, I wouldn't put him near the top of it.
Right. Okay. So.
But there's a lot of them.
Okay, no, I agree. There is a lot. I'm not saying that he's the worst player. Obviously, there's other players worse than him. But the reason that is just such a baseless comment is because if you replace Bruno Fernandes with Xerxes, what do you expect?
Great shout.
My point is this.
That is a good shout.
My point is this, right? To everyone who's going to say the exact same, we're awful without Bruno. Take Bruno at that left centre mid, attacking whatever, number 10, whatever people are calling it these days, and put Musiala in there. And then have the conversation with me. Obviously, this is never going to happen. But what I'm saying is, Florian Wirtz, put a player of Kovici or someone with actual quality, not a flipping Scott McTominay or Xerxes or Højlund. You're comparing him to what? Players that Bruno's obviously better than.
Scott McTominay's miles better.
He probably would do a better job than
Miles
Bruno.
better.
But the point I'm making is...
You see where they say,
I mean, he just got Scott.
And he plays every minute.
He just got Scotland's Ballon d'Or. But
Plays every minute.
I should not mention
They're not
Scott.
even subby.
I should not mention
And they
Scott.
joint top.
But the point I'm making is, you're just replacing...
Well, where we are.
Bruno's
get
obviously better than these players, so what? It's not...
No,
it's
that's what I'm saying.
You're saying
So,
that
but
he's not a game
I'm
changer,
saying,
pretty much.
no,
It's
what
not
I'm
about being in and around the team.
But you're
what I'm
replacing him with players
saying-
that obviously worse. Who in the Man United fandom thinks Xerxes is better than Bruno?
Nobody. Maybe
Exactly,
Ricky.
so what's the comment?
Not much, innit?
So who in the Man United fandom thinks Garnacho is better than Bruno?
Not me.
Exactly, so if Bruno's getting replaced by Garnacho and Xerxes,
Why are we gonna
obviously
replace
we're going to be worse.
Why
This
are we
is
gonna
what I'm
replace
trying to
Mount?
say, though. What I'm trying to say.
You're trying to say he's not the worst player.
I'm trying to
but
say,
we're still better
okay,
without
yeah,
him on
we'll
the
probably
pitch.
have to address that, but after we've addressed nearly every other position on the pitch, because they're all higher.
The issue is
problems.
Bruno is high up in terms of like he's like a key player. Our key player needs to be someone like Florian Wirtz or Musiala, a player of that quality that actually elevates
Good luck
us.
trying to get them to join
We're not
us.
going to get any of them, but the point I'm trying to make is, even if Martial was there, and I know people are going to hate me in the comments, but fit Martial is 10 times the player Bruno is in that position, 110%.
Well, I actually don't think Bruno should play in that position anyway. I
can't
said
play
I
there.
think he should be playing in the pivot, a new guy.
If he doesn't
If he'd have
play
played in the
he's
pivot
useless.
today, I fancy they'd have scored more than 2. No, it's true. It's true.
True.
I
Well, we
fancy
don't
they'd have
know that.
scored-
We
Well,
don't
but
know
Well,
that.
Bournemouth scored 3. Why not?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I do.
That's a good point. And Wolves slapped us as well.
That's one thing I was like, personally for me, I actually don't think his best position in an Amorim system is in that cam role. I don't think he suits it.
Look, it's nothing
But anyway.
against... He just doesn't suit the system. Like 99% of the players. And that 1%'s Ahmed.
Okay, but do you get my point that I would be trying to address other issues before I got to that
Because you
one?
can actually get money for Bruno. That's the thing. Who's going to buy
Who's
Xerxes?
going to buy him on 300 grand a
Saudi
week
Arabia
when
will pay
he's
at least...
literally just
Saudi
signed
put
a new deal?
60 million, 70
We keep
million
relying on
for Bruno.
Saudi. We've never sold to Saudi ever.
Well, what
know,
we
I
did,
know.
we did. We sold Alex Telles for about 2 million.
Oh, did we? I don't even know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. He'll be better than what we've got at the moment.
Saudi probably hate us because they wanted to buy us. And
They need to do a package deal for Bruno and Casemiro. About 120 million, just take it or leave it.
There's more
All
in
the
that
wages.
Ruben Amorim quote about on January. This is the full quote now that's come out.
He said, "Sack me now."
We don't have the possibility in January if we don't sell
Oh, there
some
we go.
players.
Okay, Rashford gone.
You know the situation better than me. I can't just spend money changing the team. But he says if we don't sell some players, for me, based off what I've seen so far, it couldn't be more obvious that Rashford and Garnacho are up for sale. Because you can obviously get money
I
for them.
wouldn't sell Garnacho,
Garnacho,
you know.
I don't think they sell Garnacho.
Why?
Yeah. I just
don't know,
can't see. I can't see United going
I
down
can't
that path.
sell him. Paul.
Okay, but,
Yeah.
but would you sell him?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Though. I'm not saying that.
What would
I
you?
would
How,
say him.
what
Yeah,
kind of
Would you sell him?
I don't think Garnacho at any point in time is going to be good enough for us to win the league with him starting, and I can't see that. But I also, if I'm thinking that if I'm working for United, I wouldn't sell him though. 'Cause that doesn't make sense. As a fan though,
I'd probably keep him to the
Why would you
summer.
not sell him if you could get £60 million and
If you get
invest
60
it into someone that suits the system? That makes sense.
The reason I won't sell him, this is the honest reason, January is a horrific window to buy players in, like notoriously.
Okay.
So that's why I'd actually keep him till summer, then I'll sell him. But Rashford, he can go. Because I know that contradicts my point, but he obviously doesn't want to be quite clearly. He didn't even sub him on when we desperately needed goals, so you might as well just get him gone.
Said it so many times. If we were playing a 4-3-3, I would not put Garnacho up for sale at all. But in this system, if someone's offering 60 mil, if you can get a player
60 mil,
that can,
fair,
because
you know
that's the
what, fair
rumour.
enough.
If you can get a player in that suits the system more, it's
Who's going to
it's
pay
obvious.
60 million?
60 mil, fair enough.
Apparently, Atletico Madrid.
Oh, I can see that actually.
He did used to play for them. So
Did it?
That's just the rumour.
We bought-
But
we bought
let me
it.
get some super chats in, and
I can't see that.
we'll move on to a bit more.
What's he called, their manager?
Simeone.
Yeah, he's just an absolute stickler for defensive
Yeah, true.
players.
Simeone's the most strict manager
Giving
in
balls
Europe.
away and all that.
Maybe they
He
should.
does
And
like-
they're on
he
a
does like-
they're on a
he does
title
like
charge.
players like that,
They're on a
though.
title charge, so I don't see why.
Got Goat Time Smoker says, we get a left wing back, left mid in January. I think we start playing a lot better. We have no balance down the left side with Dalot, so teams know they can mark Ahmed with 2 to 3 players is our only threat. Excellent super chat, I agree with you. Alex Dreyer says, Casemiro is the worst player on the pitch. Petro says, Chido Obi Martin is ready for a start alongside other youth players. Eriksen, Casemiro, Rashford, Anthony, etc. all dusted. Reinald Diaz says, Ineos cutting costs to prepare for summer clearance. We've got Gonzalo saying score prediction for the game on Sunday. Please don't make me. Josh says,
Oh, Lord.
thank you for your super chat, Josh. Guy says, isn't it time to start our talented players for sure, better mentality, youth or ours? They will suit the system so much better. Andreas Goose says, we need a better goalkeeper, a better shot stopper. We are getting relegated, says, if Elanga stayed at Manchester United, he wouldn't be the player that he is now.
Facts. That is
That's
so true.
so true. We did
That
kill
is so
them.
true.
We did
I'm
kill
telling
them.
you, we kill players and look. See when we were
But
talking
we are
about.
a graveyard for talent. That's just a well-known fact.
You see when we talk about Player FC, I completely understand. I completely agree with what you say. Like everyone, I feel like everyone has some kind of element of Player FC because we're fans of football. So you're gonna like more certain players over other players. That's just what a fan does anyway. But the amount of players that were either really good players before they came United or really good players after they came United, but whilst they were here, they were terrible, is insane. I could name about 10 players right now who before or after they were at United were top players, but whilst they were here, they were horrible players. And I think that happens so much. It's not a coincidence. And look, we can go back to Pogba before United, we can go back to Sancho, we can go back to Sanchez, we can go back to Ronaldo, Lukaku, Martial, De Gea. So many players, either before or after, they play well. So you got to look at now.
Marcy's not even been injured since he's left.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So
I don't know what's up.
Elanga as well. There's so many players. I don't think it's a coincidence that these players just play better outside of the club. There has to be something inside the club that's making a big difference. I won't be surprised if Rashford goes out and he ends up being 1,000 times more better.
I think he will have a good
I'd be
career. to be
surprised.
fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But McTominay left and he's playing amazing.
But that is Italian. Yeah. I do think Rashford just needs a fresh start, full stop.
I've got an interesting game that I've just come up with that I'm going to do in a minute with you
fair
guys, which
Oh,
I think
no.
will be good. Rob Costello says, I want to see Ricky's compilation of Eriksen errors from today, a la Bruno. Shani Hill says, Amorim was brought during the middle of the season into a bad team. Players are trash. He needs time and his own players to win games. I would judge him next season, not this season. Julian Flescott says, we need to move on good players and move on good players and buy worse ones. Martial versus Xerxes, Bruno versus Mata, Casemiro versus Matic, Maguire versus Smalling.
We
This is the
replaced
result.
Pogba with Eriksen, by the way. Just that went under the radar. But
Ronnie Dodge says, Ricky, I know you like Eriksen, but he's a pensioner. Noah Laliberte says, Ricky, what now? 2 defensive wing-backs and we get pinned back. Eriksen and Casemiro dreadful. Xerxes gone. You preach defensive football. It is enough. Do you want any comeback to that, Rick?
Yeah, stick with it, like the manager said.
love
Stick
that.
with it.
Don Keddick says, felt for Xerxes, they should all have been booed off. He shouldn't have been made the scapegoat, that's for sure. Anthony Tracy says, we'll sign Pogba and big media promo. We definitely won't. Yeah, if we do, Oh my.
Oh, I'm
Alex,
buzzing for that, me and Ricky.
Can I just come back again on
I'm
that?
telling you, bring him back.
Can I just come back
It'd
again
be
on
an
that?
improvement on what we currently have.
It's horses for courses. We didn't play defensively enough. We didn't play defensively enough. Well,
No,
we
but
had a striker too many,
Tactically
and on Sunday we need to be even more defensive.
Alex.
All 11 players behind that ball, man.
Alex Dreyer says when Leacher was sub, we couldn't pass out from the back. Constantine says, what was the reason for Amorim not giving Rashford a sniff on the field, especially after the 75th minute? Kieran Naidu says, didn't Ricky want to see Casemiro and Eriksen back in the eights? Keishan says, are you guys ready for a relegation battle whilst backing the manager? Sam says, just to remind everyone, these are the exact same players that have just sacked the previous manager. Failed players way out of their depth once again.
These people have got short memories, Beth. They're having a go about Casemiro and Eriksen. We just got beat 3-0 by Bournemouth. People seem to think that, what have we been playing like prime Barcelona before this? We got beat 3-0 by Bournemouth at home last time. We were actually a little bit better tonight than the last game.
We were, to be fair, moment. Against a better team as well.
Yeah,
Not for them first 20 minutes, Jesus.
No,
Not for the first 20 minutes, no.
It was when Xerxes went off we got better.
Petro says the players use Amorim as a scapegoat. They've forgotten how to play for the badge. I back Amorim. He said we need a shot to the system. We got it. Ineos to blame. The one thing I will say is I thought we looked beaten as soon as we kicked off in terms of the mentality and the
I
quality
said in
of this
the
team
warm-up
on the
that we
floor.
lost.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my tweet in the warm-up.
No, I didn't.
I was cooking Xerxes in the warm-up. He was absolutely awful in the warm-up. I said if he plays anyway like he's done in that warm-up, he's getting hooked. Like he was so nonchalant. He was moving like Berbatov. Like not how
He's
Berbatov.
high, bro. Like,
No,
he plays like he's
no, there
not
was
here.
one. I
like
know,
a tractor when you're trying
I
to
know
move.
the warm-up don't mean anything, but when they do like the drill around the side and they cut it back,
Yeah.
4 of our players are in the box. Obviously, no one's marked. It's a bloody warm-up. He missed everybody. And I thought, nah, this brother's done. Like, how are you going to miss 4 players in a warm-up? That is a standard cutback, 5 yards. He didn't hit any of our players. And I was like, yeah, I literally tweeted before the game, then I quoted and said, yeah, I was right.
Well, we had 3 players in the midfield that couldn't run for starters. Casemiro, Eriksen and Xerxes is like trying to get a tractor to go 0 to 60 miles an hour within like, it takes about half an hour.
Good across the ground. Can we just talk about Højlund?
Well, I've got my game coming up, and we'll get into it. We'll get into it with my game because there's so many things we need to talk about that I thought we'd do a true or false statement, and we can all say what we can all say true or false, and then whoever wants to take the floor of explaining why can do so, because I think we've got a lot of topics that we need to get with. So my first true or false statement is Lisandro Martinez is not good enough to be a starting centre-back for Manchester United.
True.
True. I'll be honest.
True right now, yeah, for sure.
Right now, definitely. Like, I'm flipping over so bad.
Definitely right now, 100%.
Anyone want to take the floor on that one? Explain why?
Ricky, do you want to go?
Kind of obvious.
Yeah, I'll go. Obviously, there's the physicality. As you know, it's not. It isn't just that though. He's too rash. You know, the way he goes into challenges. It's an accident waiting to happen. And I think someone sent a message in saying we couldn't pass it out from the back. I don't think his passings. He makes some great passes, of course he does, but he makes some awful ones as well. And he's just look. If he played against City and we beat City. He played in the cup final against City and we beat City. So you can win games when he's playing. It's not absolutely terrible, but we keep talking about us challenging for the league title. And if we want to challenge for the league title, he's not good enough. Now, I'm not saying we've got to get rid of him tomorrow. When we did that keep or sell thing, I said to you, we got rid of too many players. You've got to keep some players. I mean, we can't end up with 8. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying get rid of him tomorrow. He's just an half-decent player, that's it. He's an half-decent Premier League centre-back. Not good enough to win the league with him.
One thing I'll say about Martinez, and I think it's the same with Bruno as well, is I think they do have quality, but I think they're very easily taken out of a game. I think if you target Martinez, he's done. And I think that's what they did in the corners. Every time there was a cross, not corners, every time there was a cross, they just pinged it onto Martinez, and both of the goals came because Martinez couldn't defend his... You know, the attacking player.
Joe Linton.
Both of them literally just
Joe
jumped.
Linton's a beast, isn't he?
I watched it happen in front of me.
I
And
said it's a goal as soon as it was.
Was it Martinez challenging him?
I watched it happen in front of me, and I'm not joking. It's like he shriveled up mid-air. He just got absolutely bullied.
It's so easy to like target Martinez
Joe
and him become a victim.
Joe Linton can bully a lot of people, make no mistake
He's a big
about
guy, he's a
that.
big
But
player.
but you're better off with a stronger player against
even
you.
that Isak first goal, it was both him and Maguire. Like, it wasn't just Martinez, but he literally had a free header, and he didn't even like.
That's 2 minutes into the game.
It was literally, honestly, I said I could have put 3 of my friends in the box. There was 3 centre backs around him. I could put 3 of my friends in the box that don't watch football on a regular basis, and I think they would have done a better job at trying to defend it. It was terrible. I need to watch it back, but on first watch, it was right in front of me, and I thought, wow.
Any of them 6'4", get shin pads on them, get them on.
Get on the back post, man.
Get them on.
You know what it was? It was confusion. Watching it back, it was just a lot of confusion between the centre backs. Maguire's gone to chase Murphy. Martinez thought that Maguire was going to mark Isak, so he's left him and stepped a couple
It's
yards
not
back.
good enough, man.
Like, it's just terrible defending.
Maguire's meant to be this pro in the back 3 as well. Come on, man.
Yeah. If any of you have a true or false statement that you want to get in, by the way, super chat in and we'll do it, because keep them coming. Yeah. My next one, we'll get on to Højlund in a second, but my next one is Mazraoui is a better centre-back than wing-back in Amorim's system.
Yeah, I'd say
no
true.
Brainer.
Yeah.
True? Yeah. I think we've all explained why.
We don't need to go into that.
Okay. True or false? Manchester United wasted £100 million on Højlund and Xerxes and should have just bought an experienced striker.
Like Harry Kane.
I won't say they wasted £100 million. I'll say they wasted about £70 million.
Wow.
Well, they should have gotten both for about 15 million each.
Okay, I thought you were just saying Højlund and we should have got Xerxes. And I was going to be like...
How does that work?
How the hell did we buy him for 72 million? Who was in charge of that bloody negotiation?
That has to be the worst. One of the not worst. I'm not saying the worst.
It's
but
up there,
for quality
bro.
of money, for the standard of the amount of money,
we have San Anthony.
It's up there. Like, Anthony's up there, obviously. Probably Lukaku and Pogba and all the guys probably up there, and Maguire as well for another 80 million. But 72 million on a player who we don't even know is going to be good enough in the next 3 years.
We paid 72 million on pure prospect.
Pure luck. Like, we're hoping. It's just hoping that he's going to be good enough.
Does anyone actually know what kind of striker he is?
He should have been 30.
Can I get into it? Because I'm actually seething with his performance today. What is he doing, right? I was at the game for Bodo Glimt when he bagged a brace, and I was in the mix zone after, right? And somebody asked him about his performance. Oh, you were still next to me, Beth. So he was.
Oh yeah, well.
Yeah. So someone asked him about, how have you improved the game? He was like, I've started to wrestle less. Bro, since that game, all he's been doing is wrestling. What are you doing? He wasn't even looking at the ball when it's getting pinged to him. He's looking at the man. I don't care who's on you. I don't know if it's Shaw who was playing behind him. Just play for the ball. His touch is awful. His ball control is not good enough. His hold-up play is not good enough. His link-up play is not good enough. His movement off the ball is absolutely pathetic. People are saying he's not getting service. I put money on it. If Cavani's up top, he's scoring at least more than him. Yeah. Because I tell you why, Cavani's got that IQ to make the move. Look at Olivier Giroud, right? The amount of goals this guy scored from running near post and flicking it. He did it once against Bodo Glimt and he scored. He's not done it since. What is wrong with the guy? His movement. He's never trying to get on the end of anything. He's not trying to score scrappy goals. We literally had Ruud van Nistelrooy as manager, right? The guy is the king of movement. Ruud van Nistelrooy was the goal. Fox in the box, he was up there with one of the best of all time in terms of finding space in the box. I have not seen this guy find space at all, ever. Like, it's rare. He doesn't get on the end of anything.
But a lot of it is instinct, though. It's like natural striker
have
instinct.
that instinct.
I said before, I remember last season, I was saying McTominay's got better striker instinct than
110%.
Højlund, because he somehow has a knack for where the ball's going to be, always in the right place.
Sniff out danger. Like a defender, or they can read the game to sniff out the danger. This guy's got no awareness of where the ball's going to land.
There was at least 2 crosses today that came into the box where I thought if Harry Kane, Isak, Haaland, anyone's in there, they are 100 million% getting on the end of that and at least getting their head in it and putting it on target. Højlund's always a few seconds behind. Right, do not get it twisted. I don't want to be overly harsh because he's only 21. But at the end of the day, if you're wearing the number 9 for United and you're leading the line, you're gonna have expectations on you. You are.
It's the movement is the thing that's really pissing me off.
Yeah,
other things I understand, right? Obviously, he's young, he can improve on them. But the movement, as a striker, you either got it or you don't. It's not something so easily teachable. Like, that's what makes a top striker. The sniff where the ball's gonna land.
And people say no service, but they're only saying no service because he's not getting to anything. Okay, the service is limited, but if there was a striker in the box with a striker's instinct, they would be making the most out of the limited opportunities
How
that we're
many
getting
goals
and
did
would
Cavani
actually
score for us?
be getting
That
on
would-
the end of
You are
on the
comparing
end
to
of
a
crosses.
seasoned veteran striker that's 20 years of the game.
No,
like.
of course, that's a fair point. Of course, let's just use Hernandez even. You can use anyone, but the point I'm making is a striker's bread and butter is sniffing where the ball's going to land, or at least be remotely close. He's never close to the cross, ever.
He's on the
He's never.
back post when the ball's
He's either
front
ran
post.
front post or the ball's
Yeah.
gone back stick. He's literally. There was even a bit where Xerxes actually did something good in the game. Someone played the ball to him and he actually got the ball turned and played the ball, and Højlund's just running the opposite direction. The guy's like he's never on the same wavelength. Like they've been playing for each other for like 16 months now. Like when you watch other teams, even like let's just say watch Southampton, their players look like they're on the same page at least to an extent. Obviously they're not good, but they're at least linking up. Like Højlund, what's he doing, man?
Yeah, I think movement as a striker is one of the most important things. People talk about physical attributes. Like, look at someone like Haaland. Haaland, as a goal scorer, is probably the best striker in the world as a goal scorer. But that is a lot of the time based on his IQ and movement. He knows where to run. It's not always because he's wrestling guys and he's like fighting guys off the ball. No, it's because he knows where to run, where the ball's going to go. And also, you have to understand as well, I feel like when you play in a well-oiled team, you kind of have a better understanding of where the ball is going to go. Like, let's say Arsenal, like when Havertz is making a run, he kind of knows, well, when Saka's running down the line, he's most likely going to put the ball here, or he's most likely going to put the ball here because we've trained that movement 100 times in the training ground, and I've played with him a lot of games, so it's a better understanding, a better chemistry with the players. I just feel like Højlund has no chemistry with our other players. He just doesn't know what's going to happen when Garnacho goes down the line or when Højlund's got the ball. He just doesn't know. And like I said before, he just doesn't have that natural IQ, that natural movement in the box, or even like not even just in the box, just behind the defender, running in behind to know this is where the ball's going to end up being.
I don't think he's good enough for the Prem. That's the honest truth.
No, I think
look at his European record. No, but look at his European record for Man United. Right, I've defended Højlund a lot. His European record for us is actually really good, even in the Champions League, and obviously in the Europa League as well now. It's not a coincidence, is it? He's clearly better in European football. I mean, it suits him. He's struggling massive. He's trying to be too physical. Just stick to what you're good at. Get the ball, play it down, get into the box, please.
The thing is, I do think it's not that I don't regret signing, because I do think he is a good prospect at 21. I do think he has potential, but he never should have been signed for 70 million to be the main striker.
He should have been the second striker.
The fact of the matter is when we signed Højlund, we should have signed Kane. I don't care what anyone says. We should have signed Kane. We should have paid the money, even if it was over 100 million. I mean, we've wasted so much money on players that weren't worth it. I mean, you could name them. Even players that I wanted, we've wasted money on. For example, Mount's never fit. People are questioning whether we even should have paid that much for Andre Onana with the mistakes he's made recently. Anthony, we never should have paid £86 million for. 70 million on Højlund, 35 million on Xerxes. That could have made up the 100 million. We should have bought Kane then, and what we should have done this summer is we should have bought again, which is a lot of Man United fans were saying it, and I don't get how the board didn't understand it, whoever was in charge of it then. We should have bought an experienced striker then. We've been crying out for one, and we've neglected it. We should have bought Kane, and when, you know what, we made a mistake, we didn't buy him. We got Højlund, whatever. Who should we have bought this summer? People will keep laughing me off this show. We should have gone and bought Ivan Toney. And if we didn't buy Ivan Toney, we should have bought someone else with experience and actually put some money on the table and bought an experienced striker to help Højlund out. That's what we should have done. Rectified the mistake in the first place.
I do agree that Harry Kane, I mean, I think everyone probably agrees that Harry Kane would have been a better option. But my only thing, again, is I just feel like players we could sign a big player all we want, and they'll come into the team and still fail. We signed Ronaldo and we still failed.
Ronaldo was miles better than anything we've got now.
Ronaldo failed though at United.
He got 18 goals in this team.
United failed though. Like Ronaldo didn't. Like we weren't a good team. Like we were still terrible.
6th. We weren't 14th.
No, but we were still bad though. Ronaldo didn't make us like a good team. How many big players have we signed and we still failed?
I agree with you, but the thing is, it's not a one-player thing.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think.
This is why with the Rashford and Bruno conversation, it's not just get rid of Rashford and Bruno. It will magically be a good team. We need a flipping full squad. Like
that's what I mean. Like, I get it. Harry Kane would have been better than Højlund.
He would have been better.
Obviously, but we still. Harry Kane probably would have been 100 times worse than he is right now.
We need 6 players, minimum 6 players, as in 6 starting players.
Yeah, minimum.
As in 6 players that start week in, week out. Obviously, we need like 15, including the squad, but that's the issue. It's not a quick fix. I know everyone wants a quick fix. Everyone wants Rashford gone and whoever else. Let's just say Osimhen, for example. Oshman's going to come in, he might do all right, but he's just not going to fix the problems are deeper than just one player. That's
It's true.
unfortunate
That
case.
is true. The problems are definitely deeper than
It's
one
a
player.
minimum 5 starters. Minimum 5 starters.
I tell you what, whoever scouted Isak and bought him for Newcastle, that's who we need to be getting in.
That was from the Euros or the World Cup?
Don't bring anyone from
It was a
Newcastle
World Cup
after
thing,
that. Ashford
2022.
situation.
It was obvious what a good player he is when he played against us. He was playing as a nose on your face. Didn't
Quality.
Was it? Who did he play for against us?
Sociedad, was it?
I think he was. Yeah, he's a class player.
Top.
Sweden as well.
Even Hall's
It's
bloody better
depressing,
than our
isn't it? But
bloody fullbacks.
anyone who comes to us flops, and anyone who goes anywhere else does well. So
I mean, the fact that
Facts.
we don't even have a left back. Like we've not had a left back for like 18 months.
We've got some more super chats here. Imrano says, it is unfair to compare a 21-year-old to the winner of the Scottish Ballon d'Or. McGrander UK says, how can you judge a player at his age when he has no senior striker to learn from? Price was not set by him. Yeah, OK, it might not be Højlund's fault, but Man United made that decision. And he's the number 9 for Manchester United. And
No,
he is
who
playing.
many criticise though? At the end of the day, right? It's not Højlund's fault. It's not our fault. The truth of the matter is, he's playing week in, week out. Unfortunately, is the case. He's going to get criticised. I mean, I've never criticised him on Fan Forum ever. I don't really criticise him in general, but I've actually sick to death of watching him wrestle a centre back. I beg, just stop doing it, please.
His attitude is top, by the way.
I actually like Højlund
he
a
works
lot.
so
Like,
hard.
I like him a lot, but the truth of the matter is, he's just got to stop, dude. Please, just control the ball and just pass 2 yards. That's it, and you'll be fine.
Darren McNulty says, I watched an old United game the last day, always challenging in the air. We don't do that anymore. We need good plays in the air, clearly on set pieces. Someone says, do you lot understand that Rasmus is an advanced forward and not a playmaker? These labels are there for a reason. Barima says, you guys might be right about Højlund, but how many decent crosses do we put in during a game? Please check the stats before bashing him. Ryan Lord says, if you could sell Rashford and Garnacho for 75 million combined and send Casemiro for free to free up 700k wages a week, who would you go and get?
That's not enough money for the mess that we need to fix.
Ronaldo Diaz says, put Rasmus in Liverpool and he would sink us on Sunday. Petro says, Amorim's press conference was painful. Bloke wants to admit the team is bad, but he said he supports his players. Manager and system, definitely not the problem. Abdul says, IQ comes with experience, Cavani, etc. Older. Colin says, Martinez has only been consistently above average when partnered with Varane. Anthony Tracy says, true or false, we should have signed Andre for 21 million.
Absolutely not. Is that Andre the centre mid?
from Wolves, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting it mixed up.
Andre, the centre mid from Wolves.
I don't
False,
know.
I would say. I think I like Gomez from Wolves, I'm going to be honest, but I think there's lots of other players that I would look at above him, I think, at this moment in time. But I've not seen too much of him yet, so I can't comment too highly.
I've not seen loads. As Maud said, it doesn't matter how you put in that team at this moment in time.
If you only put 2 midfield players in there, they'll be no good.
Noah Laverty says, Ricky, you're wrong. Xerxes and Ahmad were getting back behind the ball. He's playing defensive and we give up possession and control.
Xerxes was not getting. I was
It's not
literally there.
natural. Ahmad gets back. Ahmad's really good at it.
Ahmad's brilliant. Xerxes was not
Ahmad,
getting.
yeah, Xerxes, look, he just come back. It's hard to explain to somebody, but it's a natural thing for a midfield player, and they do it without thinking. You've got to do stuff without thinking.
You know
can't-
what positions
You
to pick
can't
up
think
as well.
about it for a second or two, and then start running. You just got to immediately start getting into position, and
not his instinct.
midfield players do it naturally, and defenders.
Rob, Always United, says, Beth, can you ask Ricky if he thinks this team is any better than the one that got relegated? I don't.
The relegated team.
Well, we got relegated in the 70s,
Oh,
and I
right.
remember
Oh, I was
it.
gonna say then.
If that's what he means, probably not. No.
Irakli says, wow, wouldn't even win the championship with these players if we got relegated. Clubs needs to buy better ones, period. LJ says, can we be honest, other than Southampton and Leicester, would Højlund start in any other side in this league?
I don't think he's that bad. I'm just saying, I'll give him his dues. He has got a potential, but the fact of the matter is the board have stitched him up in it. He's in a situation where he's leading the line when he's too. I said it in Fan Forum, didn't I? I don't know if it was. I said that Garnacho and Højlund are not ready to start for United week in, week out, and I got
That was last
killed.
season, yeah.
And I was getting absolutely annihilated, and that wasn't a par on them. They're just young players that, inexperienced, are going to make mistakes.
Josh Hodgson says, Beth, we need to go for Isak. Yeah.
Give us half their team. Their entire. I think I said to Ryan, their entire midfield walks into our team.
And I need £1 million tomorrow morning.
High front three of them.
I mean-
Tonali, Guimaraes and Joe Linton. Oh my God.
Keel says, selling Garnacho is a logical decision. Nick B says, why aren't the coaches that were there before being talked about? What are they drilling into these players? But we've changed the coaches, haven't we? They're all Ruben Amorim's now. Kelvin Bob Manuel says, we are so much better with Bruno. Please stop capping Ricky and the other guy. His name's Usman.
I'll take other guy. Don't really care.
Hey, when Pigs Fly says, time to think about the possibility of relegation.
Have they forgot Bournemouth last week?
I think they forgot Wolves as well.
Just put it all to the... Just forget it. We weren't worse today than we were last time we played at Old Trafford.
Oh my God.
Liam's cooking here. Liam says, let's get serious. Dalot has never been that much of a decent player that you all wax lyrical about. Players like James and Scott McTominay among many why we have failed. Wake up.
That's Ricky on his burner right
James.
there. That's Ricky.
No, he's saying players like that is why we failed.
Oh.
Because we praise, he's basically saying we praise the bare minimum. And
Who's
that's why we
praised
failed.
Dalot?
Daniel Sturridge
I
says,
think last season.
are we the worst run club in the Premier League? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
God, these are depressing.
Anton.
Imrano says, it is unfair to compare a 21-year-old... Oh, I've done that
You've
one.
read that one.
Right, OK, thank you, everyone. Right, we've only got a few minutes left. True or false, will Manchester United get relegated?
I think we'll just survive.
False.
And not because we're good, all the teams below us are just a bit worse.
OK.
Ipswich won today.
No, I'm saying like we'll only survive not on our own merit, just literally because other teams save us.
Oh, yeah.
True or false, Ahmad is the only forward player we have that is good enough to be starting for Manchester United at this moment in time.
True.
I'd say full stop, not even at this moment in time.
Yeah, like, when is anyone going to get good enough?
Yeah, true.
Not
And
even
does
in
that
this moment in time,
mean
just
does
full
that
stop.
mean all of the others you'd be open to leaving
Absolutely.
for money?
And good luck trying to get 72 for Ireland.
No, we're definitely going to lose money on everyone.
Oh yeah.
On everyone.
No,
So-
I'm picking on Hoyland a bit. I'll keep him for the squad, but yeah, the rest of them can go. Obviously, I'll keep Ahmed.
Yeah.
True or false, Anthony should start at wing back next game.
No.
Liverpool.
False.
No.
Not
It's too
against,
risky.
Not against Liverpool.
We're going to get...
I know.
Oh, I forgot it's Liverpool.
No, I know. And especially if he's going to play him at left wing back, which I know he wouldn't, but I've
Against
just said
Salah.
that's what he should do. He'd be marking Mo Salah.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
luck.
come on, it's a bit
can't
unfair.
mark
It's a bit
Salah.
unfair on Anthony, isn't it? You know what I mean?
My first audition at left wing back.
No,
Right, I'm going to play you at left wing back today, son. Oh.
I think either way it's going to.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
It'd be
even
tough.
if we go super defensive and play both of our fullbacks, that's what we did today.
We're losing.
We played both of our fullbacks today. We didn't play wingers.
Didn't have enough midfield players.
Exactly,
Got
so-
to have more midfield players.
I don't think the two wing-backs are going to make us concede any less goals, even if we play Ahmad and Anthony. Like, it's not going to make
That
big
game's a
difference.
wrap, man. I wouldn't mind even watch it.
But to be fair, yeah, no, it's a wrap.
It's at Anfield as well.
It's a
bro.
wrap. So
Yeah,
I was going to say it real way as well.
well.
And again, this isn't disrespect on Ugarte because I think Ugarte's been fantastic since he's coming back.
Oh wait, is Bruno and Ugarte back for that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should win based off what the chat said.
Go away. And I think Ugarte's probably been.
Listen, if we win next week, don't bring me back on. Obviously, I know I'm not, but like, we told you about Bruno.
I think Ugarte's getting into frame of being probably one of the best signing maybe so far.
Yeah.
Oh, what a conversation that is.
But the fact I don't want to disrespect him because obviously I'm very, very happy with him and every team I think needs a player like that. But true or false, it shows how poor the other midfielders are that he's our best midfielder. Just a simple player.
I still don't think he's our best. I know everyone's turning on Manu, but I'm going to stick to that guy.
Oh, well,
Maybe
yeah.
No,
I thought
Mainoo's
Mainoo
obviously,
looked
I
good
think
against
Mainoo's
that.
obviously the best.
Mainoo's
though.
our best.
I just think right now effectiveness, like talking about this
I
season.
thought Mainoo looks as good as ever today. When he
I
comes
thought-
on.
Mainoo looked really good
I
today.
think he was our best player.
I think people have been waiting for Mainoo to have a bad run of game. Just
He's
to
had,
pile on him.
he's,
They've
he's
been
had a bad
waiting
run of
for
game,
him.
there's no denying that.
I told you
mean,
before the game today who the
awful.
4 midfield players should have been, and then the manager agreed with me after half an hour, right? And on Sunday, it's got to be Ugarte, Ericsson, Mainoo and Ahmad.
yeah,
That's what it's got to
it
be.
has to be. I mean, Manu's...
He'll probably bring Bruno back in, but he's got to see that little spell we had for half an hour against a good side where we were the
will
better
bring Bruno
side.
back in, I can tell.
And we've got to get 4 midfield players in. I'm counting Ahmad as a midfield player. He's up and down like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And the problem that's going to happen on Sunday, I can already see it, because like I said, Bruno is probably going to come back in. And what they did today with Ahmad was they isolated him so badly, he couldn't even have a sniff of the ball. When I saw Ahmad missing passes, that's when I realised, okay, there's a problem now, because he's been put under so much pressure, even his game's getting thrown off. And if Liverpool do the same thing that Newcastle did today, pressure Ahmad, Bruno's wherever Bruno wants to be. We're going to be back to just having 2 midfielders who are probably going to be Mainoo and Ugarte, which means we're going to get Gravenberch and McAllister. They're going to run through the midfield.
Did they just put 5 in at West Ham? They put 7 past us. Was it the year before last? Or
Let's not speak that into
you know, if we don't get enough players behind the ball from the start, people do, look. If you look at their first goal today, where they played it from one wing to the other and then they crossed it in, if you've got an extra midfield player in, maybe that pass across the field doesn't happen. They've got too much space in the midfield, and people just think about the final pass and the final header or the cross or whatever. We need to nip it in the bud and make it harder for them to actually get that pass out to the wing. And if Mainoo was on at that moment, I can't remember who played the ball wide. I think it might have been Tonali. Maybe Mainoo's on Tonali. You just don't know. You know what I mean? You've got to start from the beginning with enough players to try and fill the space up and make it awkward for them.
Yeah.
If Trent has that much time, honestly, just say 3-0 forfeit.
Pack it in, man. Half time. Can we forfeit?
3-0 forfeit, please.
Forfeit,
That's going to be an absolute bloodbath, unfortunately.
True or false?
Oh, no.
Man United need a new keeper.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to say false.
Yeah, false.
Only because...
look, if you had one of the best keepers in the world, but... Go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was
today. I didn't even look at anything Onana did.
We just don't have money to be spending.
I looked at Onana today and I thought, well, 2 point-blank headers at the goal. What could you possibly do?
He's one of the positions where I think eventually we'll probably need to upgrade, but he's not a priority, I would say.
Yeah, that's how I'd put it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I think we'll leave it there. A lot of people are saying that they think we'll transform if we get a left wing back, but...
No, that's exactly how I feel.
On that keeper thing, he played in the Champions League final 3 years ago, and we, you know, no matter what position they're in and no matter what team they're in, we're supposed to want players who are capable of reaching Champions League finals like Jadon Sancho.
And he was fantastic as well.
And Onana, you know, if he's played in a Champions League final, we should be looking at that and saying, well, there's one player who's capable of reaching the Champions League final. He's proved it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they lost, but you know, we want a challenge for these trophies, don't we? Brilliant. I'd take reaching the quarter-final. I'd take qualifying for the Champions League. You know what I mean?
Let's
don't have a go at them because they lost.
Get through this next round.
And they weren't playing. Don't have a go at them because they lost.
Anyway, we've got to wrap up, guys.
Yeah.
I'm being told.
Yeah, okay.
We've gone over. It's therapy. It's therapy. Osman, do you feel better now? You've got a bit off your chest.
No comment.
Any final words? When will we next see you?
Hopefully not Liverpool.
Yeah, true.
Or Arsenal. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be as bad as we think. But
keep smiling. Ricky and Maud, it's good to have you back. Even though the football's diabolical, I always feel better after talking and getting all of the community's views in as well. I'm so sorry if I didn't get your super chat. There was absolutely loads in tonight, but I tried my best to get as many as I could. Oh God, Keel Robinson with the last super chat. Okay, I'll read it. True or false? We should have signed Rabiot and Amrabat. No comment. We need to aim higher. But look, thank you everyone for watching. Hit a like on the video, please, and thank you for all your super chats. Thank you for all your interaction. We really do appreciate you. And it does get better, guys, because guess what? It's Anfield away next, top of the league.
And then Emirates.
The relegation fight continues. Look, we'll see you then. Thank you for watching. And actually, I will see you before. I'll see you before New Year. But yeah, have a good New Year, guys. So I don't know if I'll see you before there. But
Happy New Year.
But thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.